Yeah.
How'd you do that?
Oh, my right foot is numb from that accident. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Oh, so you can rip your toenails off and not feel it.
Yeah. Kind of like that.
Kind of like that.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. My name is Dr. Kurt Fisnick. And, it's a Thursday night webinar, Andrea. What do you think?
Yeah. We finally made one together.
At the same time, yeah. But a little bit late. We're an hour late. Oh, well.
Yeah. We might
We're
get
here.
some people here.
Yeah, we're here anyhow, so thanks for joining us tonight. If you've just jumped on, give us a thumbs up, say hello. If you're listening to the recording, I'll give us some feedback. Andrea, I was trying to decide what we want to talk about tonight.
Mm-hmm.
We've spent so much time talking about cardiovascular and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
Oh, I thought you had a plan.
No, I was thinking about it and I didn't have a plan.
Oh, I don't know. I've been studying cardiovascular all night for my job.
What have you been learning? Let's talk cardiovascular then.
No, it's about product. It's about product stuff. But
okay. Yeah, because you're working at a nutrition store now.
Yeah, I do.
That's exciting.
It is.
Good for you. Good for you. Well, so, let's talk about, here's a subject we haven't talked on for a while. Telomeres.
Telomeres. Those are good things to talk about.
Yeah. Telomeres are important. A lot of people, if you're listening and you've heard the word telomere before, maybe you don't understand it, or maybe you've never heard the word before. Telomeres are this kind of rat's nest, a bundle of things at the end of your DNA, at the end of your chromosome. These nucleotides, they call them. And what happens is that these nucleotides, as you go through life, they get cut off just a little bit. So think of it like somebody taking your shoelace and just cutting a little bit off, a little bit off, a little bit off. And when they get that little plastic end cut off, guess what happens to your shoelace?
It dies.
It unravels, right?
Yeah.
And that's what happens to your chromosome when your telomeres get all burnt up. So, I was just reading about that the other day, reading some more on it. It's fascinating. I find it fascinating.
Yeah, it was a Nobel Prize, back in the 80s?
2009.
2009. Well, that was closer than I thought.
Yeah, only 12 years ago. Yeah, so what the Nobel Prize is that they actually figured out that you could take these telomeres and in a way you could rebuild them.
Right? With astragalus?
With astragalus and bacopa and resveratrol, a few other things. Even turmeric can help rebuild it.
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah. So you if you can rebuild it faster than it's being destroyed, you can reverse aging.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you remember Tom used to tell us, Tom Sr., he used to say that when you're young, you're a day in the life of a telomere isn't really a day. When you're young, like around 20, a telomere, the telomere aging is, for every day, it's like burning up only 1/3 of a day's worth of telomeres. When you get to be 40, you're burning up like 2/3 of a telomere, day compared to a regular day. So you're burning it up a little bit faster, but still you're not a day for a day. When you get to be about 60, 55, 60, somewhere in there, all of a sudden you're burning up like 1 day equals 1 telomere day. Does that make sense?
Okay.
That does it make sense? I mean, if it makes
Mhm.
sense to you, it makes sense to our readers and to our listeners, not readers, listeners. But when you get to be 80, you're burning up 2 telomere days for every 1 day of chronological days. So if you look at the
Right.
calendar, you know, you're burning up 2 of those days in the life of a telomere, right?
Mhm.
So it's easier to build telomeres when you're young.
Yeah, to strengthen them. Yep.
Yep. So if you can rebuild it, if you can add a new nucleotide for
Mhm.
every day, you're getting bonus points.
Yeah. Kudos
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah. Yep. And so I know a lot of people who got started young, but I know there's a lot of people that didn't get started until they were, you know, into their 70s or 80s. And some people will tell me, they'll say, well, it doesn't pay. I'm already too old.
Well, no, you can always reverse it
Right?
and even, slow it down.
Yep. And that's exactly it. So no matter what age, I mean, what the heck? What if you add an extra day to your life? What if you add an extra year to your life? What if you add,
Mhm.
an extra couple years?
Yep.
What if you just stave off some of those diseases of aging? Because that's the ultimate thing. Hang on one second. For some reason, my pooch thinks he's got to walk between the cords when I'm on the computer, and
You have a troubled child.
he gets himself all wound up in the cords, and then he yanks on it and pulls things off the table. But so what causes, well, I mean, we're talking about how you can make the telomere grow by using, different things like you mentioned, astragalus. Astragalus is a plant, and there's actually 2 extracts from astragalus. So if you
Mhm.
go get the astragalus plant, you take that plant, you pull it out of the ground, you start eating on it like a stick of celery. It really doesn't do much good, does it?
No, you really need the extract.
Right. And so the extract, when you talk about it, if you take the astragalus plant and you filled this room with astragalus,
Mm-hmm.
chances are it would yield 1 kilo of the actual extract that we're talking about, the cycloastragalonol.
And how big
Right.
is the kilo?
1 kilo, 2.4 pounds. So about the size of a loaf of bread.
Yep.
Right. So you're taking the size of an elephant and you're reducing it down to the size of a loaf of bread. And so when I hear people say, oh yeah, my product, I have astragalus in it, and I look at it
Mhm.
and it just says astragalus root. It's like,
Right.
yeah, no, you don't have any astragalus in your product. I mean, you have astragalus, but not the active extract. And then some people tell me, oh yeah, it only cost me $30 for mine. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Well, actually, I learned a little bit about astragalus other than our extract. And it said it widens blood vessels, increases the amount of blood pumped from the heart, may lower blood pressure, making the high blood pressure medicine stronger if you're on one. And it's a diuretic. It has blood thinning properties, safe for most adults. But that's totally different than what you're talking about.
So that's just astragalus root.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
extract. Yeah.
yeah. Well, but astragalus extract root, yeah, wherever they get it from the
Mm-hmm.
plant, the whole plant. So like the cycloastragalonol that we use, the one that's
Right.
for the telomeres, for the enhancing the telomeres. I mean, that stuff is what, $80,000 a kilo. So that's like
Expensive.
$40,000 a pound, folks. Think about that. $40,000 a pound. But the nice thing about it is you don't need much. You
Right.
don't need much. And then there's another extract from astragalus called astragaloside, and that one is only,
Side.
yeah, that one's only about $20,000 a pound.
That's a tongue twister.
Yeah. So but then we have the Bacopa sides as well. There's 2 different extracts from Bacopa that are in our particular product. And those are a lot cheaper, you know, when you see a product that's for telomeres and uses Bacopa. And there's some of them on the market, you know, they couldn't be the product A, so they had to be the product B. And
Right.
and in their product, you know, they use the Bacopa.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bacopa, it's good. It's not the gold standard, you know, but you get what you pay for.
Yep.
And but anything's better than nothing, right?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
anything's better than
Yeah.
nothing. And
We're just
so
we're just trying to body hack toward longer health, right?
yeah,
A longer health span.
so people might ask me, they'll say, well, what causes the you know, the telomere to shorten? And I mean, really, the answer is life, just being alive.
Right.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
slowly that telomere just being clipped off. It's being used up. And I mean, it's just every day you're alive, unless you're doing something to reverse it. But there's things that you can do that will actually make it burn off faster, isn't there?
Well, I would imagine, yes,
Yeah.
because
Like
you
having
can do
a
things that.
really stressful life.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Genetics.
Genetics. I would imagine smoking, not eating right, being exposed to toxins.
Yes. All of those.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Anything that you can think of that pops in your head and you go, oh, that's not good for you. It burns up a telomere.
There goes your telomeres.
That's right. And so if you've had a very stressful life and you smoke and you drink a lot and you don't
Mm-hmm.
get much sleep, you know, it's no wonder you know you're 55 and you look like you're 65.
Right.
But genetics can play a big role too. I mean, I know people that are 50 years old, but they look like they're 70.
Yeah,
And
genetics do come into play. Like years ago when I taught prenatal classes, you know, that they always talked about the experiments they did where the genetics is passed down for at least 3 generations. So like in my generation, my mother was born during the Depression, my grandmother before that, but see, I'm getting the genetics from my grandmother even, you
yeah,
know, and then my kids are still getting genetics from a mother who was born during the Depression years, you know, so that has an effect on things.
it really does. It really does. So that stress that they had. And then on top
Mm-hmm.
of it, if you don't, like you said, if you don't eat right, if you have a poor digestive system, all these different things, you know, so right now, you know, one of the important things that we talk about, because some people, you know, I mean, let's be honest, right? I mean, let's be brutally honest right now. With everything going on in the world as far as health concerns, if I go out and talk to 100 people out here in Fargo tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
and I mention health, and I say, what's the number one concern on your mind? What are they going to talk about?
The plague.
What's going on right now, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's in the news, it's in the newspaper, it's on TV, there's movies being made about it. I mean,
Right.
fear, it's being sold on fear. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, that's what everybody's been thinking about. So here's the honest part. How many people are really, if they're so worried about just being alive next week, being alive next year, being alive next month, you know, whether they should get the jab or not, you know, I mean, hey, that's up to them. I don't try and tell people what to do. But here's what I'm going to say is that it stresses people out. So if they're so busy thinking about that, how
Mm-hmm.
in that world are they going to be thinking about what can I do to live another year longer?
Right. I mean, when you check in with your friends by text nowadays and say, hey, are you alive? You really mean it.
That's right.
We've never been in a place before where people were just dying like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, and it's not done.
No, by
I think
far.
we're a long ways from being done. But you know, a buddy of mine, he actually passed away from COVID about 2 months ago, and so at the funeral, one of our friends, I had just seen him this summer at our class reunion, and he and I sat and talked. We had a beer afterwards, and we were talking, and he said, you know, because I'd been talking about longevity a couple of years
Mhm.
ago, and you know, I said the most important factor in living to be 100 is what? Do you remember what we talked about a long time ago?
No, I don't.
The most important factor is what's in your head. How long do you want to live? Right?
Right,
I
right?
mean, if you keep telling yourself, I only want to live to be 70,
You
you're
probably
not,
will.
yeah, you're not going to make it to 100,
Right.
right?
You get what you speak, for one thing.
Yeah. I mean, you
So
might make it
you
past
speak in-
that, but you're not going to be one of the centurions, the super centurions, right?
Right, if you're dwelling on that and you're training your whole system to shut down about that time, basically.
Yeah. You know, you know, when we talk about longevity, it's not for everybody. I mean, some people are battling cancer right now, some people are battling heart disease, some people are battling an infection, and yeah, this information probably isn't something that's going to stick in the top of your mind right now, but put it
Right.
in the back burner, put it in the back of your mind, because everything comes to an end.
Yeah,
Everything
it's
comes to
always
an end.
constantly moving toward deterioration.
Yeah,
What
but
we're
everything
doing.
comes to an end, and you know that depression that you have, yeah, it'll be done. You know that economic slump that you're in, you'll come out of it. You know
Mhm.
that argument that you're having, yeah, it'll be over with. I mean, all these things, they'll come to an end. Eventually, it'll all come to an end, and then at that time, then what we're talking about will be more important because you'll have time to think about it.
My phone
So.
was dying.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what you were doing, showing us your house and your top of your head.
I don't know what's going on here. We're all messed up.
But you know
My
that
battery's dying.
that's really the whole thing. So telomeres are important, you know, and without getting into talking about, you know, senescence and senolytics and things like
Mhm.
that, which is like, I mean, we could be here for another 2 hours. Is there anything that you want to add on telomeres? Maybe let's talk about our product. You know, we've kind of alluded to it, but we haven't said what is it.
Oh, we have a beautiful product called TSX, Telomere Support Extreme. And it's been designed to provide all the necessary things to maintain or extend those telomeres.
That's right. I just ordered 2 bottles today.
Awesome.
Yeah, I like
You're
taking
gonna
the
live
product.
to be forever, Doc.
I don't want to live forever, but I sure would like to live to be 110. Yeah,
It's a perfect choice.
But I don't want to look and feel like I'm 110. I want to look and feel like I'm in my 70s. You know,
Right. Mm-hmm.
And you know, I mean, if I don't get any more beat up, if I don't have any more injuries, don't break any more bones and things like that, I'll have a better chance. Hopefully, in the next few years with the med beds and things like that, I'll be able to heal up some of this scar tissue. Holy cow! I mean, I've gotten in the last 15 years, I've really gotten beat up. Broke my back last year. You know, but have you tried the new collagen product that we have? No, I don't.
Every day.
Every day, yeah. You know, I started taking this collagen product. Speaking of my motorcycle accident, you know, so I got in this accident 14 years ago. I ripped up my
Right.
leg really bad, busted into a million pieces. I've got scar tissue all the way up and down. Now I got scar tissue on my back from breaking my back. And I mean, that scar tissue is 14 years old, Andrea. And
Mm-hmm.
and I try and stretch it and work it and all that like you're supposed to do. And it just basically, I just learned to live with it. I started taking that collagen product this summer when it came out. Actually, a month before it came out, I was on the test subject for it. And in 1 month, I could tell that the scar tissue in my leg had started to loosen up.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah, I was just looking at it this morning after I took my shower, and I noticed that you know, I have more flexibility in my leg and in my foot than I've had in 14 years. You know,
That's
holy cow.
great, Jack.
I mean, think about that. You've worked in a number of different clinics and things like that. How
Mhm.
many times do you see a 14-year-old injury getting better?
Not often. Not
No,
often.
not often at all. So that's the magic that what we have. And so our collagen product, you know, getting
Mhm.
away from the telomeres and the longevity and moving over to the collagen product, not only does it have, you know, type 1, 2, 3 collagen in it, but it's got
Mhm.
hyaluronic acid, and it's got some 5-hydroxytryptophan, few other things to really make it a good product. And it's called collagen B3 because there's ingredients that help with the brain. There's ingredients that help with the body, the skin,
Mhm.
and brain, body, and beauty. So all three. So
Yep.
cool product. I like it. So
Yeah, that's a
Andrea,
good one.
I'm gonna hand it over to you. Let's just wrap the call up, you know, and then I'll get this posted for people.
Okay, well, folks, you didn't join us while we were on here, but you'll join us later. So give us a little hi down there in the comments and let us know you visited and saw the talk we did tonight. And we hopefully will be on here next Thursday at 9 p.m. doing a live again.
All right.
See you
Thanks,
then.
Andrea. Bye.
Thanks, Jack. Bye.